All right, ladies and gentlemen, the momentous occasion has arrived, and I already told you all this. Sorry, I'm taking my headphones off. I already told you all this. I wasn't going to make this like a gaming stream. I wanted to just have a heart-to-heart with you guys and just talk with you all just for a little bit. Good to see you, Sensei Nam. Always good to see you. Good to see you, Psycho. What is going on? Good to see you as well. Let's go ahead and get the formalities out of the way. Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome to a very special live stream. And as you can read from the title, called My First Day as a Full-Time YouTuber. For most of you will know that I've been talking about this for a very, very, very long time throughout my gaming streams, throughout my reactions, throughout everything that I've done on this channel for the past, I want to say 2 years or so. I wanted to go and do this, make what I'm doing right now a reality. And the moment has finally arrived. Good to see you, Mr. Greg. Good to see you, Looney, as well. The moment has finally arrived where I can make that decision, and I'm happy about it. So, let's go ahead and go. Am I related to Pharrell because I look happy? You have no idea how much I've been smiling throughout this entire week, knowing that this moment was going to happen. So, let's start from the beginning of how we got here. So, picture the year 2000, early in the early 2000s, back when I was in the 5th grade at Smith Elementary School in Baumholder, Germany. Back when my family was stationed there. I was in the 5th grade, and this is when the first inkling of me doing what I'm doing right now first revealed itself. But I didn't realize it until recently, like thinking back on my memories of about how did I get to this point. So in early 2000s, I can't exactly remember which year I was in the 5th grade, but in the 5th grade of Smith Elementary School, I had a couple of friends who came up with this little variety show that we would sometimes do at the end of class before the school was dismissed for the end of the day. And we had the main guy, his name was Omar, and he was the main person who was telling all the jokes and being all the big guy, but they had me be the one who would be the headliner. They would have me come up first and get everyone in the mood, and then get everyone ready for the fun that we were about to have with this little variety show that we were having at the end of class. And I would just like dance and I would sing songs, and I didn't think anything of it at the time, but I just enjoyed it when I was a kid. And we did it a couple of times. We didn't do it all the time, but whenever we did it, they would always have me be the one who would be singing songs. If I wasn't singing like songs from movies that I've seen, then I would sing some VeggieTale songs. I know I go way back there, but I would just sing songs, and then people would like it. And then we had a music class taught by a teacher named Ms. Fozart, and I never really thought about it, but her name was literally Mozart, but with the M and the T replaced with an F and a D. So I never really noticed that she was more musically inclined in her name as well as everything else than I realized. So back then we had these moments where we would learn how to play on recorders and hot cross buns, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, hot cross buns. And we would have that sort of thing going. And then we would have moments where they would want us to dance to songs. And there was this one song called Dancing on the Rooftop. And when it came for me to dance, everyone was doing all their dances and everything and dancing to the song. When it came up to me, I pretty much was the most extravagant one, and I just put my whole into it. I was like popping collars and doing the sea walk, and then I would just jump up, and then I would do the splits in the middle of the move, and at the end of it, I was just like, and then that was the first time I've ever got a grade where my teacher said, like, I'm giving you an A++. I still remember it to this day, leaving the school and people saying like, oh, they enjoyed what I did that day. Now the thing about it was, this was actually when I went to the 6th grade, because my 6th grade teacher, Miss Bishop, she came in and she found out that I was dancing, and she wanted me to see me do the whole routine all over again. I, not really paying attention and reading the room, was all like, oh, do I really have to do it again? And she looked at me like, excuse me, you don't want to do it? And I'm thinking to myself, fine, I'll do it. So I did it twice. Now, mind you, I'm a kid. I haven't trained my body to do big, extravagant dances. So when I did my first time, when I did that dance the first time, I was winded. I was tired. Back then, I didn't do too much running. And when I did a lot of running, it was because I was being chased by somebody on the playground. But when I did it the first time, I was tired. So I was still catching my breath, and then my teacher, Miss Bishop, came up and said, like, oh, can you do it again? And I'm thinking to myself, ah! I was thinking, I don't want to do it. But she gave me that stern look. I was like, you don't want to do it? So I was like, okay. And then I did the whole routine all over again. I did it step for step. And then I went home that day. So years passed, and I get into high school. I forget the name of the high school, but the mascot were the Buccaneers. It was a high school outside of the Army base of Baumholder. But got into, no, I think it was middle school. It might have been middle school. I think it was either middle school or high school. I can't remember the school itself. I can't remember the name of the school. But that's when I first got into band-related stuff, like official band-related stuff. Not like music class for elementary schools where you get like a little recorder and I remember the recorder. It was a long wooden recorder, silver band around it, and we had it inside of a special green case that we will always carry it with. I remember the little stick that could go in there so you can clean it out with like little bits of cloth and everything. My sister had it. We all had it. I think it's in storage somewhere. I can't exactly remember. But in middle school is when I got into band-related stuff, and that's when I first got introduced to the saxophone. Now, mind you, I only played the saxophone because there were no other horn-related instruments left. People had already picked French horn and trumpet and clarinets, so saxophone was left, and I just played it. And at the time, I had no interest in playing the saxophone. I only played it because it was required of band class. And mind you, beforehand, I had already known how to play an instrument. Like, I had a keyboard. It was a smaller one than the one I have now. I used to play on that all the time, but I would just play like musical themes that I heard from different TV shows and everything. And Code Lyoko's main theme song was my favorite to play, and I would play that all the time. All the time, consistently. And I got better at playing on the piano and keyboards and the like. But when I got into band class, that's when I started playing on the saxophone, and I thought it was all right. And my years passed. I got better at it. Was playing with people in like music halls a little bit. I think we were just practicing. It wasn't like a big recital or anything like that. I can't remember. It's so far gone. It was just so much has happened in between back then and now. But I remember bits and pieces of playing on the saxophone. And at the time, I had no interest in it whatsoever. Didn't know that I was going to be picking up again years later, many years later. So my family leaves Germany, and then we moved to Louisville. And when did you or others first recognize that I can do voices? We're gonna get to that, CJ. We're gonna get to that because I know exactly when. I've told you, this is going to be a very special live stream. I'm going to be going to how we got here, so I'm going through the timeline. Don't worry, we will get to that. But years later, me and my family, we moved to, I believe it was either Texas or Louisville, and my mom's dad, my mother's father, he got in contact with us, and he found out that I used to play saxophone in the past in high school, and he sent me one. I believe it was actually in Texas when he sent it to me. He sent me a tenor sax, and it's Cecilia, and Louisville, Kentucky. Yes, Louisville, Kentucky. Me and my family were all over. We was in Oklahoma, Kentucky, Kansas. There was literally nothing in Kansas. And that was when my dad officially retired from the Army. We stayed in Kansas for a little bit before we moved to North Carolina. But my grandfather, he heard that I had played the sax in the past, and he sent me one. And for a very long time, I didn't touch it because in the past, I only messed with the sax because the band required that I messed with the sax. And it literally started to collect dust in one side of my room. And I just didn't pay it any mind because I was just, into playing a lot of games and doing a whole bunch of other stuff, which kind of worked its way later into my life a lot later. So years pass, and I don't mess with the saxophone. I would go literal months without it ever touching it. And my mom noticed that I wasn't touching the sax. But she didn't say anything too directly to me about it during that time. She would bring it up every now and again. But then I would just say, yes, ma'am, I know, I'll play it. And I would mess with it, but I wouldn't put time into it. So years pass, and we move. My dad retires from Kansas, retires from the military. We go to Kansas, stay there for a little while, very small amount of time. Had to suffer through like a blizzard that knocked power out for about 3 or 4 days. So we just had to, huddle together during that time. I remember that blizzard. And the only thing that was on TV was like this, the only thing I remember on TV was like this church channel. I forget what it was. It was always one that's always having people come up and perform. And then they, I forget what it's called. See something. Church something network. Something, I forget what it was. Said, hello Q and good luck. Well, thank you, said. But we get to North Carolina, which is where my mother's side, it's where both my mother and father's side of the family pretty much reside. My mother's side lives here in the area that we are, and my dad's family, my mother's relatives live here in the area around where we are, and my dad's family lives outside of like several counties. But my family, all of my family, is here in North Carolina. So when we got here, still wasn't messing with the sax, wasn't messing with it at all. And it's not until we went to a church and we were actually looking for, because I come from a Christian household. We've been to a whole bunch of different churches, and many of us were taught the wrong thing in a lot of these different churches. Like, I can't tell you how many times in the past my family had to deal with discrimination just because my dad's skin color does not match ours. Because my dad, he may look white, but he's not white. He's he's mixed, but he is not white. And my family would have to deal with like discrimination and people looking at my dad like, is that really your dad? And not only that, but people were acting shady at churches. Am I at least part Gullah Geechee? I have no idea what that is. I have no idea. But going through all these different churches, we were taught the wrong thing. And then it was like, some churches would be like, all you ladies, you can't look better than the pastor's wife. You have to wear all of this. You have to look dressed down so that you don't look better than the pastor's wife. We had to deal with all that. Shady people at churches, people being secretive and just mean-spirited and then hiding it as all like, oh, I love you in Christ and stuff like that. It wasn't until we got here to North Carolina, and we were still searching for churches at the time. And this does play into how I am as a person. People still did that? Yes. People did that in the past. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they don't do that right now. But then again, I haven't been to a Kojic church in decades, so I can't really say for sure. But people were like that. You could not look better than the pastor's wife. And if you did, then there would be repercussions, or some people would just be so vindictive that they'd probably try to get rid of you and get you out of the church, and then make it seem like you did something wrong when they were the ones being shady. And it was usually the people at the top of the hierarchy, because you got the pastor, and then you got the right hands of the pastor and the first lady. So if they did something, you couldn't retaliate against them because it was their words against yours. And if they were close friends with the pastor, then the pastors automatically took their side. So, people were shady like that. But it wasn't until we got here to North Carolina and we were looking for a church, really good church that taught us right, not taught us all this stuff like, we went to a lot of churches that taught a lot of condemnation. That means that we went to a lot of churches that made you feel like whenever you did something wrong, it was going to be permanently held against you. It wasn't until we got to a church called Destiny Christian Center here in North Carolina that we were taught that you've learned everything wrong. God's not mad at you. He's madly in love with you. He's not, he doesn't, if you don't remember him, then he doesn't remember it anymore. It's like we were taught grace and favor. We weren't taught condemnation and how to look down on people just because they didn't believe what you believe, because a lot of people were like that. You would get ostracized just because you didn't believe the exact same way that everyone else did. But it wasn't until we got to this church that we were taught right, and that our minds and our way of viewing things just fundamentally changed. So, going back to this, we went to their first church, and then they got a second one, which is a lot bigger than what it is now. When we got to the newest church version of their church and they got to the second location, my mom brought up the fact that I had not touched my saxophone in a very, very long time. So, she took that initiative and waited, because all this time when I was going to the churches, I would just be looking up at the band, and I would just be thinking of, wow, I would love to do this in this part of the band, and I would love to do that in this part of the band. I would just look at the band and I would just look at them playing all the time, and I would just be thinking, maybe if they add this instrument, or maybe if they add that instrument, and I would just constantly be looking at the band and the singers, and I enjoyed it. But at the time, personality-wise, I was almost antisocial. I would not really talk to people. I would just keep to myself. I would say seldom words. I was going through like a weird, quiet equals mysterious equals cool type phase. It was dumb. Let me say this. It was a dumb phase I was going through, because I thought I was all cool because if I didn't say anything, or if I tried to sound all deep, it didn't last. And I learned from it, and I've never gone back to that way I was before. But I had like a phase where I was just be all like, hey, what's going on? Now, mind you, I'm still quiet a little bit when it comes to, talking to people. I don't say more than I need to, but I'm that whole phase when I was all, be mysterious and be quiet and don't really say anything. That phase didn't last long. So it wasn't until we got to the second church location that my mom brought up that, hey, you haven't touched your saxophone. Your grandfather didn't pay all that money for you to get this saxophone and for it to collect dust in the corner of your room. You need to go up to those band leaders and ask them if they need, or to see if you can join the band. And she did not leave my side until I approached one of their band leaders to ask about being in the band. Now, mind you, I had no experience playing in front of crowds or anything like that. Anytime I played, it was just by myself in my house, in my room. That's all I've ever known. So it would come to times back when they would have practices on Wednesdays, I would go there and I would practice with people, and the band leader would sometimes stop playing and he would come over to me and ask me to play stuff. Now, mind you, as of right now, I still can't read a lick of music. I've learned everything music-wise just by remembering what notes do what. If you ask me to play a note, I won't be able to do it. But if you play that note, I can hit it instantly on whatever instrument I'm playing. So When it came to being like spur of the moment, just go off and riff it and then just play to my heart's content, I didn't know how to do that. So I would just kind of secretly ho hum it and make it seem like I was doing good and then move a little bit and then go with it. But he could see that I was still massively, massively green behind the ears as far as being a musician. So I would just constantly come back over and over and over and over and over again. And then it came to a point where there was a Sunday where he asked me to play with them. I was incredibly, hey Ravi, what's going on? I'm telling you my story of how I started being an entertainer and to how I started my first days of being an entertainer as a kid, but not knowing that it would be my future to where we are now. We've hit the kind of the halfway mark. When it came time for me to play on the Sundays, I was massively nervous because I was out there in the open. People could see me, people could see my face, and I wasn't used to playing in front of crowds, let alone an entire church worth of people. So Sundays would go, and I would be massively nervous. I'd be like, "Oh no, people are up here, and they could be looking at me." And then sometimes they would want me to play something on my own, and I was just thinking, "Oh no, no, don't do this, don't do this." I used to get really, really, really nervous when I was younger, being in front of crowds. You wouldn't think that due to the fact that I'm putting myself out there on the internet in front of hundreds upon thousands upon millions of people. But back then, I was incredibly nervous to perform anything in front of a large number of people. But as the years passed, I started to get used to it. Then I started to get better at it. Then I started listening to the lessons that my pastor was teaching, and I got a broader understanding about who I was as a person. Now, at the time, I still didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So at the time, I was still in school. My mom became a certified teacher and homeschooled us right in the middle of high school, and then we graduated with honors. But during that time, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. Nor was I really paying attention to anything that was going on YouTube or even the concept of becoming a YouTuber. It wasn't until later, much later, that I decided to do it. Now, this is the same shirt I had on yesterday. Give me a sec. I almost forgot to unmute my mic, my bad. But look at me, looking all professional with the YouTuber sleeves all rolled up. But at the time, I didn't realize what I wanted to do with my life. I had no idea what all of my talents were, and I just thought, I'm a good musician, but I never thought that I could turn it into a living or any sort of career at all. So years would pass, I would get better at it. We had a trumpet player in our band, and he went off and he left to become a professional bass player, and the dude is living his life right now. Dude is famous. He's been playing with a lot of famous people. He's got his own house now. The dude has his own studio. He is following his dream, which I would do years later. So when he left, I decided to take up the trumpet in his place. And that is now my most preferred instrument to play. I have trained myself over the years to learn how to play the trumpet. Now, remember, all these years, and I still don't know how to read music at all. You could put an entire sheet of music in my face, and I would not be able to just instantly play it. Now, if I heard the song before, I can get an inkling and then pay attention to all the notes on there and see how the tempo goes and everything. But as far as you putting a sheet of music in my face and tell me, play this whole thing right now, note for note. Unless I heard it, I wouldn't be able to do it because I've only known how to play by ear and by memory. So years would pass. I would be in the band for years. I believe I've been in the band over 10 years, well over 10 years. And we played with different people, Clint Brown, Fred Hammond, a lot of people. And I got better and better at it. But one thing I never noticed was how I was getting more open the longer I was in this band. And I used to be a person that just barely said anything at all. People who've played with me in the band already know. If I ever had kids or had full-time guardianship of any, I would most likely homeschool them at least to a point. Yeah, there was a lot of things going on with the whole homeschooling thing. A lot of things that my mom didn't want us exposed to in school. And I'm grateful that she did it because who knows how I would have ended up if I just stuck with public school during that time. But I never noticed when I was playing in this band that I was starting to get more and more open to people. I started to become more social. I started to become more energetic. I started to speak more. I started to project more. I started to do things that were the polar opposite of how I was before I even joined this band. And it was good. It was really good being able to talk to people, going from being like an almost antisocial individual into being someone that can just walk right up to you and say like, hey, how you doing? I'm Q. And it's like, I never thought that my mom would have introduced me into a way that would have fundamentally changed how I operated as a person down to the very depths of my soul. I never knew that joining this band would change my life forever. So, cut to a little bit of a time later. Me and my dad are coming home from church one day, and I believe I created my YouTube channel in 2016, but I never thought that I would be pouring as much time into it as I do now. I created it, and then I made my first video called This Is My Mountain Dew, and it was just me and my dad messing around because my dad was talking to me and saying like, hey, you got a YouTube channel, you make stuff on there. And at the time, before I even released even a single video, I had a YouTube account, but I never uploaded anything at all. So when me and my dad were coming home, I remember it because I remember the PT Cruiser that we were driving in at the time, and that was before he started to fix it fully. I remember the ride. I remember what I was wearing. I remember the conversation we had. I remember stopping to get 2 Mountain Dews and 2 honey buns because that was what me and my dad used to do all the time. We would have this father-son thing whenever we would leave church, we would get honey buns and Mountain Dews and then just drive home and chill. This was before we even had Jet. This was before we had any dogs. It was just me and my family at our home. Now, this is when we were living in an apartment complex beforehand. But all this stuff changed when we got our own official first house. The freedom of having your own house and not having to worry about having to tiptoe over people who are underneath you or weird smells coming up from the people that live above you. We got our own home. So when me and my dad were traveling home, he said, hey, you got a YouTube channel. I hear YouTubers make a lot of money. Maybe if you make a video, you could get famous that way. So at the time, I thought nothing of it. And I just made the video. I just said, this is my Mountain Dew. This is my Mountain Dew. I can still do the voice even after all these years. But we're coming, it was in the daytime. We go to like a morning service. But I did that video and I just did it haphazardly. And then I started to think about, I made a video. Maybe I should make another one. And during that time, I believe One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 was out. and I had The Witcher. I didn't touch my YouTube channel for a number of years, I would say. I believe my very first video game video I ever created was watching a glitch happen in The Witcher 3. And I just made one of that. And then One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 came out, and I just started making a series of videos and different types of videos concerning that. Now, at the time, I didn't have any of this equipment that I have. I didn't have this mic, or I didn't have any of this. I didn't have a webcam. I didn't have a microphone. All I had at the time was just an old Samsung Galaxy, but even then, I still didn't have too much to work with. So back then, all I had was like my PlayStation, I want to say 3 or 4. I want to say 4 because they didn't have broadcasting gameplay for PlayStation 3s. But on my PS4, I was playing One Piece Pirate Warriors 3. And I would upload videos through that. Just me playing different characters. Mihawk, Kuma, Mordia, Garp, and a whole bunch of other different characters. And I had fun. I had fun making these videos, and I made like tons of One Piece Pirate Warriors videos. And some people that I've seen on other people's channels have mentioned me, and they know that I've made these One Piece videos in the past. Of course, that was back on like what Rogers Base's third Reverie he did, and people knew who I was, and that kind of surprised me back then. But I would make videos on One Piece. Then I would do long live streams playing Lego games, such as Lego Marvel Avengers, and then other Marvel games, Lego Batman, and all sorts of different games. And I would just do long live streams of me playing that. And that's how people started to see my channel more and more. Now, at the time, this was before YouTube changed its entire monetization deal on how they do things. And how it required, back then, you didn't need 1,000 subscribers in order to unlock monetization for your channel. So when I was at 500 subscribers, it was a momentous, even having 100 subscribers, that was a momentous occasion for me. And because 100 people, that was surprising to me. 100 people that looked at my channel and liked it. And I would just be having casual streams, just talking to people, just having casual streams, just playing games for hours on end, just literal hours. This is before I had to start working jobs that required that I work overnights. But I would just play games for hours on end, countless amounts of Lego Marvel Avengers streams, where I play as DLC characters and just talk to people. And yo, Top King, what's going on? And Douglas Smith as well. Let me not forget to acknowledge all of you. Also, Gajio, good to see you as well. Apologies if I did not mention you beforehand. My sincerest apologies. But it wasn't until and at the time, I was reading One Piece a little bit. But the thought of reacting to manga never popped up into my head. So years would pass, and I would do video game videos and video game streams. And all of these were happening before I even thought about reacting to manga and One Piece and everything. So one day, when I'm on YouTube, I see this man reacting to One Piece. And I check him out. I enjoy him. Because at this time, I'm also working at Best Buy. At Best Buy, I started working at Best Buy immediately out of high school because I didn't want to be a freeloader. I didn't want to be a person that was just chilling at the house, didn't have no job. I had two choices. Either I get a job or I go to college. I decided to get a job first while my sister went to college instead. So I just was working at Best Buy for years, and all I ever knew was just working trucks, running freight, and lifting heavy things, lifting TVs on my shoulders. I mean, 60-inch TVs were nothing to me because I made myself strong back then just from working with moving refrigerators and washers and dryers. And I worked there for 5 years, and I got the nickname Gazelle and Batman due to me being able to I had what they saw as abnormal jump height. because it would have me jump over things and I would just sail over it. And then Batman, because I would carry TVs on my shoulders, including stuff that was incredibly heavy for most people, and I would just carry it on my shoulder. This is not a humble brag. This is just what people have told me. But years would pass, and I was reading One Piece at the time. Now, mind you, I did not read One Piece from the very beginning, because my first iteration of One Piece was watching the 4Kids TV show. And as a kid who had no knowledge of the Japanese version of the show, I thought it was everything. I thought it was amazing. I enjoyed it, seeing Luffy, but thinking that it was kind of cheesy with some of the lines that they had in the show, but I still enjoyed the animation and the fights of the show. I still remember watching Luffy versus Crocodile way back when it was on 4Kids. I still remember it. So years go on, and I'm working at Best Buy, and I'm reading One Piece. Now, mind you, like I said, I did not start One Piece from the beginning. I started it pretty much near the midpoint of Punk Hazard. The last I remember, I just randomly looked up a chapter and I just started from there. I actually think I started from the same spot where the guy who I saw on YouTube started from. And I remember the Cooley Brothers. I think it's called the Cool Yeti Brothers. Hold on real quick. But I started near the point where you get the Yeti brothers, and then I just started reading One Piece from there. And I kept going, and I had friends at Best Buy who were reading One Piece with me, and they was thinking like, "Oh, this is getting insane." And then we would get to the point of Dressrosa, and we was talking about how crazy things were going, the revelation of Gear Fourth, and it was crazy. So years go on, and then I find out about this man called Rogers Base, and this man is the reason why I do manga reactions. Yeti Cool Brothers. Thank you, CJ. I watched one of his videos, and his energy is just monstrous. I watch his videos, and it's crazy how this dude is getting so excited for One Piece, and I'm thinking, wow, I like One Piece as well. I'm enjoying this. This is very good. And after he was done, like, I subscribed to his channel, and I've been subscribed to his channel ever since. I can't remember the year, but it's been a hot minute since I've been subscribed to his channel. And I thought, I like One Piece as well. Maybe I could do what he does. So, because of me being inspired by Rogers Base, I started doing manga reactions. Now, mind you, the reason why I do gameplay on my channel is because I was inspired by the Rad Brad. And that dude is amazing. That dude is an amazing YouTuber. He's always playing all the newest games. I was watching his channel before he had his daughter, and I was thinking, wow, I've seen this dude throughout all the years. But he's the reason why I do gaming stuff on my channel, because I watched him and I'm thinking, maybe I could do that for games. And that prompted me to do live streams and game videos on my channel because of the Rad Brad. Manga reactions and just doing everything and doing manga reactions comes from me being inspired by Rogers Base. So I start doing reactions. Now, mind you, I'm still reading One Piece, but I start doing reactions in the middle of the Whole Cake Island arc. And I believe that my very first One Piece video was when I had my phone. I just had my phone, not this phone, because this one is way upgraded than the one I had back then. I just had a phone and a small laptop. I remember it was an Acer laptop, and I used that thing to the point where the fan inside of it broke, and it was just rattling, and many of you will hear that fan rattling, and a lot of my early One Piece vids, up to the very moment it died, and I would have to suffer using that laptop. Like, sometimes my laptop, because the fan was broken, it would overheat, and it would shut off completely in the middle of me recording a reaction. So it kind of ruined the feel of me reading these reactions, because then I have a thing where I do reactions, and I would very much prefer not to know anything about any of these chapters that I read, because I want my reactions to be absolutely genuine. I don't want to make a reaction where it's like, oh, I've already read through this, so my feelings are not going to be as 100% unbiased or 100% genuine, because I already know what's about to happen, so I'm not going to have as big as of a reaction. I never wanted to go through that again, so I got a new laptop. But when I started out in the middle of Whole Cake Island, and actually, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. If I pull my playlist up, and I go down to, I'm glad I made it so that you guys can go to manga reactions and read through very easily instead of having to search through a long list of playlists. I got it right here. But wow, 225 One Piece videos over the years. I had no idea. But my very first One Piece video was One Piece chapter 828, 1 and 2. And I believe, like, I can't really remember what that chapter entailed. Actually, hold on. Let me see what year this was. Let me see what year this chapter was. I gotta wait for the webpage to come up real quick. Sorry, I'm just doing a little bit. Actually, you know what? Let's explore this together. The page is now frozen. What have you done, page? Stuff is moving just a little bit slow. Okay, I got it working now. Okay, so let me put the webpage up so you guys can see what I'm seeing as well. Okay, so this was my very first One Piece reaction. This was my very first One Piece reaction. Hold on, let me get myself. Yo, Blaziken, how does it feel to full time? It feels amazing. I'm going over the history of how I started being an entertainer before YouTube up to where it is now. But here is where I first made my first reaction. And this was, hold on, let me pull this up. This was in 2016 on June the 2nd. And this was my first reaction back then. And I say in the description, bear with me, I'm still getting used to this. I was trying to kind of downplay the fact that I was new to doing reactions, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. So this was my first reaction. And this was before the voices, because I didn't do voices until later on, which I'm actually going to see if I can find real quick, because I want to, hold on. Let me, you know what, let's just do, this is my first One Piece reaction, so let's just talk about this for a hot minute. So let me come over here. Oh, that explains why it's moving so slow. I had my Elgato on. Why did I have that on? That always nerfs my frame rate whenever I'm doing these live streams. I am so sorry, everybody. But, so this is me reacting to it. And did I unmute it? Yes, I did. Okay.
You're that pudding? Some guys have all the
So
love.
this is how I was in the beginning.
You guys, you're Sanji's cruise mates? No way. But now that you mention
this is me before I started doing voices.
Straw Hat Luffy.
Man, I look incredibly young here. That was before my mustache started to get in real thick. Before I started, you know, getting more stuff on my bookshelf and everything.
And why are you even here? They'll kill you if they find you. You're inside Mama's territory now, and Mama is as scary as
This
they
was
come.
me really
That's
early
right,
on.
You are all scary pirates. Why is she holding up a knife to him? She's got the swirly. That's seriously scared in anime terms. She's got the swirly eyes, and what is she doing? Hold it. Calm down. We have no intention of being violent. Luffy, what shall I do with this woman?
See? This is me before I started to embrace the energy that I have right now. Whenever I'm doing reactions, this was before I started to be like, maybe I should, get into it a little bit more. So let me see if I can find the one where I actually started to do the different voices. So.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kyushu92 with yet another One Piece manga chapter reaction. This chapter is titled One Piece, chapter 829. The Yonko, Charlotte Linlin, the Pirate. And right now we got the cover page for showing.
This was before, peoples. This was before I started to get my own catchphrase and make my own outro. This was before all of this. So what you're experiencing is early Kyushu, back before I knew what I wanted to do with myself. I knew what I wanted to do with my life. This is me really early on.
Sing with a bunch of frogs that look just like Cake Island without getting spotted by.
So I'm trying to find the video where I started doing
Conversation
voices.
is between Nami and Luffy.
No, you don't. Stop trying to do ads. Monster Hunter Rise. Skip.
Me a creme brulee. And she threw a dude so.
This is when we first get introduced to Big Mom. And this is when I recorded my videos. Not did live streams as I do right now, but this is when I recorded it. And this is also when I was reading from unofficial sites as well for years. This is before I started reading officially from Viz and started to operate in a more professional manner. So,
do you not know who I am?
See, mind you, I hadn't come into my voice yet. I'm trying to find that point.
Horrid scene indeed. What?
Yo!
He has that death look.
Hold up! Yo! Cedes! Oh! Yo! Cedes! Bruh. Hey, congratulate. Cedes with the 50! Hey, congratulations on your first day as a full-timer, and I'll pray and wish, and I truly believe you'll go far in this journey. You have my support. Much love and support. Cedes. Oh my goodness. See, after all these years, when this sort of thing happens, I'm still surprised by it, but I'm thankful, especially more now than ever, because now that I'm turning this into a living, this is amazing. Thank you, Cedes. Thank you. Let's get back to the video before I start getting all emotional. You missed my beginning. He's doing an errand. It's fine, Cedes. I was just going through the history of my life as an entertainer from when I was a kid in elementary school all the way up until now. I'm trying to find the very first One Piece video I did where I started doing the voices. But it's not this one, though. I think it's 830. I think this one. I think this is the one where I started to embrace the energy. Chapter 830. He who gets bet on. I think this is the one where I started to.
Foxy. Yo, what's going on? It's me, Kyushu92, with yet another One Piece reaction. Chapter 830. He who gets bet on. Cover page. Rayleigh!
I've been doing this since elementary school. No, not YouTube since elementary school. Just being the type that has always wanted to be an entertainer since elementary school. You'll understand once you see the beginning of it. You'll understand. Because it requires a lot of backstory. But you'll understand once you see the beginning.
Nice. Oh, he's betting with some other dudes, and he, in the end, result in a fight for the true freedom for the fishman race as well. So don't you worry
So
about
I started messing with stuff.
anything.
I'm trying to find the one where I was
They
doing
got
voices.
Big Mom all wrong, cause she seems pretty chill about this.
I'm trying to find the right one.
Gego Moria. What's going on, everybody? Kyushu92 once again with another One Piece chapter reaction, chapter 831, Adventure in a Mysterious Forest.
I'm trying to find the point where I started doing voices in chapters. But as I started to do these intros, I started to get more and more into it. So I believe I'm getting closer.
Forest filled with candy.
This isn't it, however.
Kaizoku Oni Oriwa Jedaida. That was my attempt at Blackbeard, but that's neither here nor there. Welcome back once again, people. It's your boy Kyushu92 with another One Piece chapter.
I'm trying to find the one where I started doing voices, because then I'll start to go off from there.
Glare of his eyes, and he has circles around him. Those eyes remind me of Mihawk. I don't know why.
Because I need to touch on the whole...
Jumper, we're doing this again. To the exit.
I need to touch on the whole element of why I started doing voices and how I started it from there, because it kind of really did help my channel. Because we're actually getting closer. Where is it?
That was supposed to be Whitebeard. Hey everybody, it's Kyushu92. I just came out of a very, I want to say, bad live stream of me playing Lego Marvel Star Wars. 94% done. My game crashes just as it saves.
Always live and eating.
And it corrects it.
It's funny because my family's going to be grabbing my lunch here in a little while. So I gotta kind of need to get through this. I'm trying to find the one where I started doing voices, because that's when I need to continue to where I am right now.
You good for nothing.
Oh, this is it. This is the chat. This is it. When I started doing voices. Which chapter is this one? This is when I started doing voices. Chapter 833. This is when I started to do voices, but I didn't get really big into it.
Again. Royals aren't meant to dirty their hands cooking, moron. Give it back. Shut up. Give it back.
And he punches his brother in the face. And he hurts his own hand doing that. Ouch.
Who do you think you are? Don't you ever touch me, moron. Ha 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 ha.
Now, this is my first iteration. Still in 2016. This was in July, the following month after I started doing One Piece. The following month, in July 21st, this is when I first started doing voices. But I didn't know that it would shake up how I do my channel entirely until, I want to say, chapter 857, Rook. And this is the reaction I did that got me noticed by a third-party commercial group where they wanted to use this reaction, and one of my reactions, one of my facial expressions and moments in this specific video for their eBay commercial. This is how your boy got himself on TV. So, let me give you like a good background of how I went from Best Buy and then how I went to Home Goods, which is the place that I was at previously before the current job, well, before my former third job that I just left last night. I was working at Home Goods, and I was still doing videos, still doing gameplay videos, playing different types of games, but I didn't have the sophisticated tech in order to do all of this stuff. like an Elgato recording and capture cards, all this different high-tech stuff that would make my streams and make my videos a lot more professional. So at the time, when I did this reaction, I was working at Home Goods, working in the wee hours of the morning, and then get out around the afternoon, and then go home, and then do my reaction to these chapters, which I used to do on Fridays. And I didn't know that people were scoping me out to be part of an eBay commercial in the past. So they picked me up, and they said, like, hey, we would very much like to use your video for, let me see. Can I get the comments? We would very much like to use your video in, like, here's some comments because they know that, they know I was part of the eBay commercial. But it says, we would like to use your eBay commercial. And, ooh, there's even Ozzy 4 years ago. But they said, hey, we would like to use your video for eBay. Would you be willing to discuss that with us? Now, mind you, I was iffy about it because I didn't know, like, these were some random people that I never saw before, and they just found my channel all of a sudden, and I was kind of like, no. So I put them out of my head. Then they tried to get in contact with me again. So I was thinking, okay, let's give this a shot. This could wind up very badly, or it could wind up to be very good. I'm thankful that it turned out to be very good. So secretly, I talked to them, but I didn't tell my family that I was being part of a commercial, and they found out when my commercial went live on TV. And I was part of a contract for 2 years, from 2016 to about 2017, where my eBay commercial was playing worldwide. And a lot of these comments that are in my chapter 857 reaction are from people who found me through eBay. A lot of people found me through that eBay commercial. So not only did my family find out, because I was in my room and I was chilling, and I just hear them scream from the other side of the house. They were saying, like, Q, get in here! And then I go in and I'm all like, oh, what's up? And they look at me with this look like, you didn't tell us that you were on TV? And I was all like, oh, I was? We just saw your commercial! And I just kind of said, like, oh yeah, I was a part of a commercial. Not only that, but the people I was working with at Home Goods, everyone saw my commercial. My pastor saw it, my friends saw it, my co-workers at Home Goods saw it, everyone at my former job at Best Buy, they saw it. Everyone who knew me saw that commercial. Even my cousins who didn't really talk to me all the time, they saw my commercial as well. So I'm like, we just saw a cousin on TV. What's he doing? Destruct, hi, is the title true? Yes. Last night was my last night. Last night was my last night. I clocked out for the final time. And today is my first day as a full-time YouTuber, Destruct, and it has begun. I am incredibly thankful. And I thank CDES for dropping that super chat. Like, goodness gracious. Happy to see the commercial. I got it. I have it. Because I looked for it, and they kind of removed it off of their YouTube channel. So I can't exactly find it. But I found it on the internet, and I downloaded it. So let me see if I can find it for you guys to actually see. So I got a lot of windows up right now that I probably need to get rid of. I was cleaning up my desktop because I took a lot of screenshots. I was taking a lot of pictures, and I got to fix that. So let me see. Where is it? eBay. I downloaded it, but I never had a reason to use it until now. So let me pull up another element. Hold on, let me get it. They didn't give me a copy? Not of the commercial itself, but don't worry, I still found it though. It's only like a couple of seconds.
You just spent a lot of money.
Okay. Okay, so let me see if I can create an element that'll let you guys see the video that I am seeing. Okay, video source, video, media source. Okay, media source. And download.
You just spent a lot of money on the same headphones as everyone else.
What?
But did you check eBay?
I don't know if you guys can hear that.
Bruh! Get deals on everything you need to go back to college like nobody else. Fill your cart with color. eBay.
Could you even hear that? I can't even tell if you could hear that. Hold on, let me do that again.
You just spent a lot of money on the same headphones as.
Okay, it's
What?
not coming
But did you
through.
check eBay? Bruh!
It's
Get
not
deals on
actually
everything you
coming
need
through
to
the
go back to
laptop.
college like nobody else.
That's
Fill your
weird.
cart with color. eBay.
Congrats, all the best, amazing. Thank you, Destruct. I need to fix this sound so you guys can hear what I'm hearing. I don't know why the sound isn't actually playing. But actually, you know what? Let me see. There's got to be a different way. There's got to be a different way so you guys can hear it. Let's see. No, I don't need that. Then we gotta remove it. But, oh, wait. I got a better way. I know how I can do this. Sorry if it seems like it's a little bit unprofessional. Let me see. eBay commercial teen. Okay, so back then they called me a teenager. So let me come to this one. iSpot, because this is where stop that. This is where I downloaded it from.
You just spent a lot of money on the same headphones as everyone else.
What?
But did you check eBay? Bruh! Get deals on everything you need to go back to college like nobody else. Fill your cart with color. eBay.
That's it. I wanted to show you guys that. That's what I wanted to show you. But, yeah. So, yo, Cohagen, what's going on? Yeah, that was it. That was the commercial. It was just a couple of seconds, and it was international. It went worldwide. It wasn't just in America, but it was international everywhere else. And for 2 years, people found my channel, and it helped my channel grow because they was just saying, like, in my comments, like, hey, did you check eBay? Hey, you're the eBay guy. And one dude said, like, that's not you. And I said, I'm sure my hair has grown a little bit, even though I was sitting behind this exact same bookcase all this time. Only the sticky notes kind of fell off because time had passed. But that was it, ladies and gentlemen. They found my channel. And the thing was, I hadn't even reached 500 subscribers yet. And I was like a small fish in a big ocean in terms of being a YouTuber. I don't need this window up anymore. I was a small fish in a big ocean of YouTubers that I had absolutely no thought of, oh, I could be famous. So when they picked me up, it was like, this is a 1 in a million type chance that they would find my channel out of hundreds upon thousands. Who knows how long they were searching. And they found me. And it helped so much. And I was nothing but thankful and grateful. And I was humbled that I was able to take part in something so sophisticated and so popularity boosting. So that goes, and I start doing more and more One Piece. My expression was amazing. But I started doing more and more One Piece, and I started to get into voices. Like, I really started to get into it, and it started to really diversify my channel. Like, it started, like, a lot of people were doing One Piece at the time, but I can't remember if people were doing voices the way I did voices. Like all these different voices. Like all these different voices for One Piece character.
From little itty bitty Mama Nosuke
To the official deepness that is Katakuri. Like all these different voices for these characters. I never thought that I would get to a point where I would do these all the time, to the point where I can't do a manga reaction for any of you without doing voices for these characters. That's how far this has gone. And then I get more sophisticated with the tech I'm using, lights, camera, lots of action, and I just keep going and going and going with it. So, years later, after I'm doing all these One Piece reactions and I leave Home Goods, I go to my last job. And I worked at Harris Teeter, which is the place that I've worked at for the past 4 years. And like I said, yesterday was my last day. And I never told you guys where I worked because you know how people will be all like, hey, you work here? Maybe I could check you out sometime. And, you know, like, it's like, I like my privacy and everything. And I don't want to tell people where I live because there's a lot of weird people out there and you just got to be careful. Oh, speaking on that, Sanji met his goofy-looking dad and his pretty twirly eyebrow sister. She hot. Oh, you've come across Reiju. Okay, you're entering into the Whole Cake Island arc, C-Des. Just keep watching. But I worked at Harris Teeter for about 4 years, and when I got there, I had a supervisor by the name of Dwayne and his right-hand man by the name of Henry. Now, while I was there, I would occasionally do different voices while I was at work. And Henry looked at me and says, like, you need to embrace that. You need to, I don't know what you need to do. I don't know what you need to do, but you need to go after it. You need to go after this 100%. You need to don't be stuck here. Now, mind you, I was kind of stuck because I had the mentality of I could do this YouTube thing, but I just don't want to be a freeloader at my parents' place. Because I have that mentality. I had that mentality. Honestly, you're the only YouTuber I watch that does voices, and I still watch Rogers Bays, JD Legend, King of Lightning for Neverworld, etc. Oh, well, thank you, Blaziken. All the best, man. I want to attend more of the stream, but it's almost 12 midnight. Destruct, please get some rest. Please get some rest. You can watch all the more important stuff later on, but please prioritize your sleep. That's what I'm going to do, because all I've ever known, because when I worked at Harris Teeter, when I worked at all three of these jobs, Best Buy, Harris, Home Goods, and Harris Teeter, all I've ever known was work. All I've ever known was working on trucks. And I've never known anything different because that's what the job demanded of me, and that's what I had to be good at. Not because my talents revolved around working on trucks and working in stocks and everything. Not bashing anyone who does that now, but it was never for me. But I didn't see a way out of I didn't see a way of me getting out of it because I was just so stuck. So, Harris Teeter was the catalyst for me to embrace what I was good at and start to move more and more and more in line with what I actually love to do. It's actually being at Harris Teeter that I started to realize that this isn't for me. This isn't for me. I always worked at jobs because it's simply because it paid and I didn't want to be a freeloader, but it's become to the point where I would rather be happy. Real quick. But when I was working at Harris Teeter, I started to feel like, wow, this is really, sorry, my family brought food to me. Got myself a double fillet of fish, but it wasn't until, I'm not going to eat it on stream. I'm not going to keep you guys any longer. I just wanted to have this little heart-to-heart with you guys about how I got started, how we ended up where we are right now, and what I intend to do in the future. Hey, Mama Kyushu, that wasn't Mama Kyushu, that was my sister. That was my sister Jazz. But working at Harris Teeter, and then still going to the same church, mind you, where my pastor, he preaches a very good word, and he encourages to say what you want to have, go after your dreams, and never give up on them. I took that to heart. So when I would go to Harris Teeter and I would be working, it would be spent thinking about doing this. That's where most of my focus was. Now, some people may say that's unprofessional, but me, I could only think of what I loved to do rather than what I was being paid to do. And I would focus on that every single shift for 4 years. I would just think that constantly. And another reason why I also left Harris Teeter is because, well, their management is not the best. And the supervisors that they have running it, especially the one that I just left, a lot of favoritism, a lot of disrespect towards me as an individual, and a lot of condescending behavior, and a lot of unprofessionalism, which everyone in the store who knew me knew. They knew, but every time they brought it up, I don't know if the person was buddies with upper management, but he was never reprimanded or anything for it. So when I went there, I just went there to just work my shift and then come back home so I could do what I love, whether it was playing games and making videos or having live streams and talking to you guys. I just worked my shifts just so I could get out and do this instead. And for years, many of you have heard me say, like, one day I'm going to be full-time. One day. It's going to take a minute. It's going to be hard. And I've heard people say, like, it's hard to be a full-time YouTuber or it's difficult to get it started. But I figure that I would rather take that step to do what I love for the rest of my life than spend another moment at a job that I physically, mentally, and emotionally cannot stand, and then just endure it for the sake of a paycheck. A lot of people may think, oh, it's a bad idea for you to just leave your job and not have it immediately paying you directly immediately afterwards. And I figured I would rather be happy. I would rather be happy because all the money I earned from that job can't buy me happiness. It can buy me things that can give me happiness, but it can't buy me happiness. You understand? So I would rather do something that makes me happy than just endure something that I hate. Did I have any coworkers that I consider as friends while working there? Yes, I had a bunch. I had quite a few friends there, and all of them said that they were going to miss me. I had one lady by the name of Mandy. On Tuesdays, I would hang up tags in Harris Teeter, change the tags out every Tuesday so that they have new sales and everything. We got along great. Great person. She since day one, since I worked with Mandy, she never changed. She stayed the same exact person. She encouraged me to go after my dreams. And even though I helped her for like all of these years, she had absolutely no issue with me leaving and says like, I'm proud of you. Those were her words because I went in last Monday, not this previous Monday of this week, but the Monday of last week. I went in and she was in the office and me and her, we had a long discussion about me putting in my 2 weeks. And I put it in writing. The head manager knows, all the other managers know, so it's I don't know why they tried to schedule me out past from Monday to Wednesday this upcoming week because I ain't gonna be there because my 2 weeks is up. But she told me that she said that she was proud of me and that you need to go after your dreams. And she said, like, she was still there because that's all she's ever known. And she's been there for over 25 years working at Harris Teeter. And she says, I wish I could do what you're doing right now because I kind of got stuck just a little bit. But she has never once mistreated me. She has treated me like a person. She has treated me with respect. She has never given me a reason to ever question her authority or ever question her on the decisions that she's ever made. Ever. She's always been the same exact person. And she's the person that I'm going to miss the most from that store. Then I got other coworkers that I worked with. Had one dude who, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's always been out of sorts, and me and him would kind of butt heads every now and again, but he would always kind of speak down to me a lot, as if I didn't know what I was doing on my job, especially considering that I worked at that job longer than him. But he was like the truck crew manager, so he was trying to flex a little bit. But he was also the type that would talk about me behind my back when I wasn't there, such as one Tuesday, when I was leaving a tag night working with Mandy, it was brought to my attention that he said, man, I wish that guy would quit. And I'm thinking to myself, if you're brazen enough to say this behind my back, how come you won't say this at all? And if I'm doing something wrong on my job, how come you haven't brought it to my attention? He's that type of individual. He is that type because he was still the same person even after he suffered a stroke. And you would think that something like that would humble a person, but nah, he's still the same. So I really hope he doesn't stress himself out even more, because I hear that strokes actually get more deadly the more you have. So you would think that having something major like that happen to you would humble a person. He was out for 4 months after he had that stroke happen to him. Had to relearn how to refunction again. His whole right side was messed up for 4 months straight. Came back, still the same old dude. But then there are other people that I got along with very well. Like one guy, he has kids, and me and him, we talk all the time. And he was looking for a new, well, I can't say his name. I'm not going to put him out there. But we would talk, and we would get along. I get along with people that work with me. D-Train and Yvonne, what's going on? What's happening? I'm discussing, this is my first day as a full-time YouTuber, and I'm discussing the history of how I got to this point. From the very moment I started entertaining as a kid, but didn't know that's what I wanted to do with my life, all the way up until now. So, one of my friends there at Harris Teeter, we got along really well. And I tend to get along with people who actually work with me, because the thing is, with this guy I told you about, he never worked with me at all. He never worked with me. He would just point stuff and tell me what to do, but me and him never worked side by side all the years that I worked at Harris Teeter. So, of course, it's obvious that he would never understand how I work mentally and how I do things on my aisle, because on my aisle, I ran water. I was the guy that ran the water aisle, put the juice up on the shelves. I would carry all the heavy stuff, pull entire pallets, and I would do that by myself. I would not get any help. Everyone else, they would have some people help them out on their aisles, but for years, I would rarely, very rarely, I can count on this hands how many times in the 4 years that I worked at Harris Teeter that people actually came down my aisle without being asked to help me out. So I would have to move entire heavy pallets of 24 packs of water and 35 packs of water, and I would have to move that all by myself, and that's why I'm a lot stronger now, because of all the heavy lifting that I've done in the past. But he would never work with me, ever. He never worked with me, always spoke in a condescending tone, always spoke to me as if I did not know how to do my job, even though I've, like I said, been doing it well before he was. And when I brought it up to him, he would say smart stuff, saying like, well, the fact that I was able to put it up means that I got to keep reminding you how to do this. And I'm thinking, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. So I just kept doing my job. but I paid him no mind because he's not worth the effort to respond to. He's not worth the effort to just try and bring up grievances I have with him. And he's not worth the effort of retaliating. He wasn't worth the effort of retaliating against simply because his life was miserable. Because I can't fault him because, one, he's never worked with me, and therefore he doesn't understand how I worked as a person. But other people knew. Other people were used to how I do things because they worked with me. So while I was working this job, I was steadily doing this thing here on YouTube, just uploading videos. Sometimes I would come home from a shift and I would not go to sleep because I would have a stream that was going to happen the following hour or the following 2 hours. Sometimes I would come home and I wouldn't sleep until after I did my live streams, and then I would just crash and burn for the rest of the day. There were many streams that you guys probably never even noticed, but a lot of my streams I did early on in the past, I want to say maybe about a year and a half ago, some of those shifts were me not sleeping at all from the shifts that I would work at because I worked third shift. I would go in at work at either 10 or 10:30. It used to be at 11 when Harris Teeter was a 24-hour store, but I would go work overnights from 10 o'clock to either like 5, 6, or even 7. The latest I even got out was like 9 o'clock in the morning. And if I had a stream scheduled, depending on the time I had it set to, I would not go to sleep until after I did the live stream because I didn't want to risk sleeping past it. So I would make myself be up. So many of you will not notice that I have not gone to sleep before a stream has started in the past. So yeah, hold on. Sorry, they keep leaving the man cave door open to where Kenzo is, and Kenzo likes to project out like, I want to be outside now, even though he can't be out when we're eating. But when in the past, I would do these live streams. Sometimes I wouldn't even sleep at all because the shifts would be that long. And I did it for years. And my mom never said anything, but she knew I was miserable. She knew that I did not like going into this job. She knew that my heart wasn't in it. And even some of the other people that worked with me, they knew because they would hear me talk about doing this thing on YouTube, which I'm doing now, and they would see how much energy I would have whenever I talked about it. But whenever it came to stuff about work, my energy would just die down. The morale would just die down. So years would go on, and I would just keep doing what I'm doing here on YouTube, and I got better at it. And I got better at it, and better at it, and then 1,000 subscribers turned into 2,000, then 2,000 turned into 3,000, and 3,000 still rising. And then you got moments where I thought I would never see on my channel happen. Like people doing stuff like becoming members, because I haven't even initiated that until like recently, earlier in January this year. I never thought that sort of thing would work, because I thought maybe if my channel was like in the hundreds of thousands, then that would be when I would start it. Or maybe if I was in like the tens of thousands, I would turn on Super Chat, because that's when that would start. But I walked out on faith doing all of this. And I don't do it for the money, even though it does help keep stuff going on the channel. I do it because I love to do it. The whole money aspect of this job, of this career, is secondary. My main job, which I have told you time and time again, is for me to entertain you. That's all it's ever been about. If I get paid, or if I get money through super chats or people becoming members, or even the new super thanks that's on all my previous stuff now, that's just an added bonus. But it's not the reason why I do this. So it got to a point where I was fed up. I was fed up just being complacent, because I was being complacent. Whenever I told you guys that, hey, this is going to happen now, this is going to happen now, this is going to happen now, I kept looking at things from a very natural standpoint, as if I was looking at it from a natural standpoint where if I don't have this amount of money, then this is never going to work. But I started to realize that it's way more than that. I started to realize that it's not about the amount of money I'm making or the amount of money that I have in my bank account in order for me to be happy and to do something that makes me happy. It's about whether it just makes me happy, period. The whole money aspect shouldn't even come into it. So I thought about it long and hard, and I found that my passion, my talents that I've been gifted with, that God has given me, it has always been towards entertaining people. From a very young age, I never knew that. But going throughout the years and looking at all the entertaining moments I did as a kid, I never knew that that would turn into what it is right now. So I got fed up, and I thought to myself, if I don't do this right now, I'm never going to do it. I'm going to be stuck here at Harris Teeter forever. We do this for 40 years and then we die. That's literally what Squidward says. And I'm 30 now, 10 years shy of that, 10 years shy of 40. But if I didn't make this decision now, I never would have made it. And I would have been stuck at a job that I could not stand, that I felt was not deserving of the talents that I have, and not even revolving around what I'm actually good at. I never would have gone. I never would have started this. So now we get to this point, the present day. I told you all the history and all the major events that led to this moment. Now we're here in the present day, where it has been my last night at Harris Teeter, never going back. They have nothing to offer me. They even tried to offer me like, hey, would you like to prefer to just work on Tuesdays? You can still do your YouTube thing. And I'm just thinking, no, I have to leave this entire place. I have to cleanse my mental state of this environment. I have to go. Otherwise, I'll never be free. So I told them, no, I don't want to do this. And they tried to, emotionally manipulate me and get me, and knew that my friendship with Mandy, how close me and her were, as much respect as I gave her, they knew about my friendship with Mandy, so they tried to use her as a means of like, you don't want to stick around and help Mandy out? She could really use your help. And I'm thinking to myself, no, you are not trying to emotionally manipulate me into staying. I've already had that happen before, and I'm immune to it. You're not going to emotionally manipulate me into staying at a place that I just told you I'm leaving. So, last Monday, I put it in writing that I was putting in my 2 weeks, and my last day was on the 1st. Because if I said on the Monday, the next Monday, like this upcoming Monday, was my last day, they would have scheduled me on 4th of July, and let me just say this. Throughout all my time of being at Harris Teeter, every moment where I would have like a massive long period or day off, is she beautiful? Here's the thing. She's like a little bit of an older lady. I would see her like a big sister to me. She's a little bit older, but she's very, let me see, she's very wholesome. She's very wholesome looking. Like if you see her, well, you know what? Yeah, she is. She is, Yvonne. She is. But I just saw her as like a, coworker friend. That's all. I kept it professional. But that's it. And she already had like a family of her own. So, that wasn't even a thought in my mind. But I put in my 2 weeks, and the thing about it is, throughout my entire time of working at Harris Teeter, She's nice, very, very. She's extremely nice. She's the one who encouraged me to put in. Well, she's the one that told me to put in my 2 weeks and end my day on the 1st instead of the 4th of July. Because let me get back to it. Let me focus. All my times in Harris Teeter, I was subject to their availabilities whenever I had time off. So I would miss out on holidays. I would miss out on 4th of Julys. I would miss out on a lot of things that I would have to base my life around simply because the schedule wouldn't allow me. Because a lot of the times, whenever I would try to get some time off for something, it would have this thing pop up called blackout periods, which is dates that the store itself have deemed unavailable for anyone to ever get time off on. So there were days where I would have to search people out in order to get days off because there were so many blackout periods between entire weeks, and I couldn't touch it and I couldn't get time off. Families would want to take vacations, but I would never be able to take those days off because I had to work at Harris Teeter. So many times I would have to reformulate my life and moments that I wanted to spend with my family because my job just wouldn't allow me to. So, now that I'm no longer there, it's surreal because all I've ever known for the past 11 years of me working a job is work. Waking up to an alarm, putting on a uniform, and then just going to work. That's all I've ever known. Straight out of high school, that's all I've ever known was just working at at retail jobs. If it wasn't electronic stores of Best Buy, then it was home furnishing stores at Home Goods, and then, grocery store at Harris Teeter working third shift. That's all I've ever known. So, mind you, this is a big new step for me because this is the most free I have ever been in over a decade. And when I was going through these last final days, I was just marking off the days from my alarm until I got to my last day. And then I just removed that work alarm that I had set completely. Last night was the last time I did that, and I was able to sleep. And I slept for the past 4 hours. I slept for the past 4 hours because I tend to do that. Because of this job, it messed up my sleep schedule a little bit. But this is the start of me being able to actually rest. Not have like a series of days off and then worry about going to work later. I'm going to be able to rest for the first time in 11 years. I'm going to be able to decide what I do with my day and not have an alarm or a work schedule deem it whether or not I do a live stream or whether or not or it dictates how long I do live streams now. Because remember, you guys have been through many of my weekday live streams where I will only do it for a couple of hours and be all like, well, I got to end it here because I got a shift later tonight and I can't go as long as I want to. I'm basically free to do what I want. And I'm happy about it. You have no idea how liberating it is to be able to do what I love to do and be happy about it and not have to sacrifice what makes me happy for doing anything else. I'm happy. I'm deeply and truly happy. You guys, I could just I've never been this happy in my life Like I've had a lot of happy moments, but I've never been this happy and this free in so long. It's it's just it's so surreal that I can say these words, that I can proudly proclaim that I'm free to do what I love to do and not have to worry about sacrificing it for anything. I'm I'm deeply, deeply and truly free to do what I'm meant to do. So, yeah, don't expect me to just be tearing up and crying all the way open. Yeah, it's exactly as you say, CDes. I can finally have my wings and finally opens. I can breathe. I can breathe. I can sleep at night and not have to worry about going to bed early in order to wake up to a 9:40 alarm or 10 o'clock alarm in order to work a 7 to 8 or work another 9 to 5 again like I have in the past. I'm free to do whatever I want. There is no other feeling like this. And I tell you all to go after your dreams because you never know how far it's going to take you. You never know. You never know unless you try. And this is me not trying. I'm going to do it. No, I do not. There is no try. You know, I'm not going to try. I'm going to do it. And I got the support of my family. They looked at me and especially my mom, who has been my biggest supporter for my channel. She told me, I have never been more proud of you. You need to go after what you love to do and hold absolutely no regrets. My dad looked at me. My dad looked at me and said, I'm so proud of you, son. Going after what you love to do. To have that sort of love from your family. Especially my dad. That's what I needed. That's what I needed. That was and the fact that's what I needed to go forth with this decision, to go full time, because they knew how much energy I put into this. They knew how much of my life I've poured into this, and they know how good I am at it. And it says, go after your dreams and don't you dare look back. Trust God with everything. But to have a family that says, we got your back 100%, it just makes this decision all the more meaningful for me. And now here we are. We're here. And I'm happy. I told you guys before that I'm happy that I made this decision about my life. Come what may, no matter what happens, I'm never going to give up. But I'm going to enjoy every single moment that I do this. And I just want to say thank you for all the support that you've shown me through the years. All the ups and downs of me running this channel, all the times that I've messed up, did things that were not as professional. You guys stuck with me. A lot of you stuck with me for many, many years. And I just want to say to every single one of you, from everyone who's my moderators to CJ, Psycho, D-Train, Sensei Nam, everyone, Kohagen, everyone that I've met over the course of me running this channel, you guys have been the same since you've been here. None of you have ever given me reason to either block you or giving me reason to, for my moderators, you guys have never given me a reason for me to, rescind your status or anything. You guys have been earnest with me, at least with me, the entire time that I've known you. And I say known you, even though I'm some dude at the other end of the screen. But I'm grateful that I have a community that includes you guys, because this is a welcome place for anyone to come by and enjoy themselves. It's always been that type of environment. It's always the type of community that I've always wanted to build for myself. So the fact that you guys have kept this whole thing going, and you guys have remained the same, and you guys have never given me reason to question your motives whenever you come here, I'm just thankful for all of you. Not just the people who are here and who just, donate super chats or whatever, or just specifically become members. And I got to thank my members as well, because that number is growing too. I want to say, ouch, Yvonne Ortiz, how about me, who always watches your One Piece live reactions? Oh, no, you're included in there too. Not just my moderators, but everyone who watches my channel. That's everyone. I'm including everyone. Everyone's included in that. Not just my moderators, but literally everyone. Every single person who watches what I do. And I mean people who are not just people who just everyone who watches what I do, whether you're here to only watch One Piece, whether you're here to only watch my My Hero Academia reactions, whether you're here for only Solo Leveling, Demon Slayer, the beginning after the end, my One Piece anime reactions, or just here for my gaming streams, it doesn't matter. As long as you're entertained, it doesn't matter how much or how little you watch on my channel. As long as you enjoy yourself, that's all that matters. That has always been this channel's purpose, and that's always been this channel's goal, to entertain as many people as possible. But as long as you leave this channel feeling better than you did when you arrived, whether you're having a bad day and me just being me causes you to have a much better day, then I've done my job. Not worried about the monetary aspect of it, because it's all about, it's about the people. It's about encouraging. It's about being that light for people. And if I can be that light for people who need it, then I'm going to do it. The monetization and the money and getting paid and all that stuff, that can come later. What's important is that I keep doing what I do so that you guys can keep enjoying, and maybe you tell people about me, people get turned on to my channel and whatever, the more, the merrier. But as long as you're entertained, that is the only thing that matters. To me. That's the only thing that matters. So, as I close this out, I just want to say thank you to everyone. Don't worry, the waterworks are done and everything. It's just that I told you I was probably going to get a little bit of emotional, because this was a big thing for me. This is a big life thing for me. And just recounting everything that I've been through in my life to come to this moment of peace. It's a really big moment. But as I close this out, so I can get ready to eat my food here before my McDonald's fries get cold, because you can't eat McDonald's fries when they get cold, because they just ain't crispy. But I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, after all these years, especially leading up to this moment, thank you, everyone, for helping me get to this point in my life, this brand new journey that I'm about to go on. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Whether you're a moderator, a member, a subscriber, or even just a person that's just passing by and just watching what little bits of this stream you're watching right now, whether you're here live or whether you're here later, I just want to say thank you. It means the world to me. And eat that McDonald's cold fries ain't good. I know, Grant, I know. But I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys may say thank you to me all the time, but I want to say thank you, because you guys encourage me constantly to keep doing this over and over and over again. And now that I'm going to be turning this into an actual career, into an actual living, I just want to say thank you for always being the type of people that I love to entertain. It means the world to me. We can only go up from here. And welcome to the very first day of me being a full-time YouTuber. It's been a long time coming, but the moment's finally here. And you know what I'm gonna do on these first couple of days? I am gonna go to sleep like normal people, and I'm looking forward to it. There's just a overwhelming sense of peace in my spirit, in my soul even, that this is one of the best decisions I've ever made, and I have no regrets. Many people may think that me leaving my job and going to be a full-time YouTuber may be a foolish decision, but I don't care, because this is what makes me happy. So is it really foolish? Don't think so. Many people may have something to say about me becoming a professional YouTuber and may not even think that it's a all-around lucrative or even successful career, but I don't care about that. This makes me happy, and that's all that matters. So, to everyone out there, whether you're new or whether you've been here for a while, at the end of the day, all I can say is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel, and you enjoyed what you saw and witnessed here today, then like, subscribe, and maybe even consider becoming a member, because from now on, I will always be looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples. Used to think that me starting a YouTube channel was the beginning, but no, it begins now.